The waiter appeared at our table, white cloth draped over his arm, smile widening the moment he saw me. My family hadn't noticed yet. They were too busy dissecting my life choices over overpriced appetizers. "Mr. Harrison," his voice cut through my brother's lecture about responsible career paths. "Welcome back, sir. We haven't seen you since the quarterly board dinner last month. Your usual table in the private room." The silence that followed had weight. Physical. Crushing. My father's fork stopped halfway to his mouth. My brother's smirk froze. My sister-in-law's eyes went wide, her hand instinctively reaching for the menu she'd just called unnecessarily expensive for someone unemployed. I smiled. The kind of smile that comes right before everything changes. What happened next didn't just shift the dinner conversation. It rewrote 32 years of family narrative in under 60 seconds. Before I tell you how a family dinner became a reckoning and a restaurant became a courtroom, hit like and tell me in the comments. Have you ever let people underestimate you because the truth wasn't worth the argument? Because that night, I learned that silence isn't weakness when you're holding all the cards. People say the truth always comes out, but sometimes you get to choose the moment. And that moment, it tastes better than anything on the menu. My name is Marcus Harrison, and I've spent the last 5 years being my family's cautionary tale. I'm 32, based in Seattle, and according to Sunday dinners, I'm the son who threw away his potential. Here's what my family knew. I dropped out of my corporate finance job at 27, stopped showing up to family events, moved to a smaller apartment, drove a 10-year-old Honda, wore the same 3 rotation of casual clothes, declined every invitation to my brother Trevor's networking galas. Here's what they didn't know. I'd been building something. A financial technology startup that just closed Series C funding at a $340 million valuation. I was CEO. We had 127 employees, and that restaurant we were sitting in? I'd hosted our last 3 investor dinners there. My mother passed when I was 19. She used to say, "Let them underestimate you, Marcus. People reveal who they really are when they think you're powerless." I never understood that until I had power and chose to hide it. For 5 years, I'd let them think I was struggling. Not out of shame, out of curiosity. I wanted to see who'd check on me when they thought I had nothing to offer. The answer? Nobody. My father, Richard Harrison, ran a mid-sized insurance firm. Successful enough to be comfortable. Not successful enough to stop comparing his sons. Trevor, my younger brother, followed Dad's path exactly. Junior partner at 30, expensive suits, country club membership, the whole performance. At family dinners, I was the punchline, the one who couldn't hack it in the real world. The failure who proved that talent without discipline goes nowhere. I never corrected them, just smiled, took notes, and built an empire they couldn't see because they never thought to look past my worn-out jeans. That dinner started like all the others, with disappointment disguised as concern. The restaurant was Trevor's choice. Cascadia, a high-end steakhouse in downtown Seattle with exposed brick, Edison bulbs, and a wine list that required a sommelier consultation. The kind of place where reservations took weeks unless you were a regular, or unless you'd spent $60,000 there in the last year hosting client dinners. "I can't believe you showed up in that jacket," Trevor said, not quite whispering. His wife Amber nodded in solidarity, her tennis bracelet catching the light like punk. I looked down at my canvas jacket, 5 years old, fraying at the cuffs. "It's comfortable. It's embarrassing." My father set down his Manhattan with the precise clink of ice against crystal. "Marcus, you're 32. When are you going to take your life seriously?" "I take it very seriously." I kept my voice level, calm. This wasn't anger. This was documentation. "Then why are you still doing whatever it is you do?" Amber leaned forward, concern performed for the audience of our table. "Trevor says you won't even tell people what your job title is." "I'm in tech." "True. Vague. Sufficient." Trevor laughed, that practiced executive laugh he'd perfected from Dad. "Tech. That could mean anything from app developer to Best Buy sales associate." "Could," I agreed. "This is exactly what your mother worried about." Dad deployed her memory like a weapon, the way he always did when logic failed. "She'd be heartbroken seeing you waste your MBA like this." I smiled into my water glass. Mom had never worried. She'd been the one who told me to take the risk, to build something that mattered, to ignore the people who measured success by office size and title length. "We're just concerned," Amber said, reaching across the table like we were close. "We weren't. It's not too late to get back into corporate. Trevor has connections at several firms." "I appreciate that." "I didn't, but I'm good where I am." "Good?" Trevor set down his menu with theatrical frustration. "Marcus, you live in a studio apartment and drive a car from 2014. That's not good. That's surviving. That car was paid off. That apartment was strategic. 5 minutes from my office, allowing me to work 80-hour weeks without commute waste. But I'd learned that explaining felt like begging for belief I didn't need. Everyone has their own path, I said quietly. Some paths lead somewhere. Dad signaled the waiter. Others just circle back to where you started. That's when he appeared. James, the head waiter who'd served our last board dinner when we celebrated hitting $50 million in annual revenue. His face lit up with genuine warmth, the kind money can't buy, only repeated respect can earn. Mr. Harrison, he approached quickly, hand extended. Welcome back, sir. We haven't seen you since the quarterly board dinner last month. Time slowed. I watched Trevor's expression shift from confusion to calculation, watched Dad's eyes narrow, watched Amber's hand freeze on her wine glass. Your usual table in the private room is available if you'd prefer, James continued, oblivious to the bomb he'd just dropped. And Chef wanted me to tell you he's prepared the seared duck you enjoyed last time, if you'd like it off menu tonight. This table's fine, James. Thank you. I kept my voice steady, professional. We're just having a family dinner. Of course. He placed the wine menu in front of me, not Dad. I'll have Thomas bring up a bottle of the 2015 Burgundy from your reserved collection. My reserved collection. In a restaurant wine cellar. At $400 per bottle. James left. The silence he left behind was volcanic. Marcus. Dad's voice had changed registers. What did he just say? He recognized me. I opened the menu. The duck does sound good. He called you Mr. Harrison. Trevor's voice climbed. He said board dinner. He did. I met his eyes, calm, certain. Because that's what it was. Amber looked between us like we were speaking different languages. I don't understand. You said you were in tech. Like a programmer or something. I am in tech. I smiled. I'm the CEO of Summit Financial Technologies. We develop AI-driven wealth management platforms for institutional investors. We closed our Series C last quarter at a $340 million valuation. I paused. I own 34% of the company. And yes, Trevor, that math means exactly what you think it does. The number hung in the air, $115.60 million, on paper. In reality, my father's face went through every stage of processing. Denial, confusion, calculation, shock, and finally, something I'd never seen before, uncertainty. He couldn't finish. The broke failure, I offered, the disappointment, the one who threw his life away? How long? Trevor's voice was barely above a whisper. How long have you been? 5 years. I left Merrill Lynch the week after you told me I'd never make it without a safety net. I didn't say it with anger, just clarity. I co-founded Summit with 2 partners from MIT. We bootstrapped for 18 months, then raised our seed round. Series A came 2 years ago. Series B last year. Series C closed in September. And you never told us. Dad's words came slowly, each one weighted with realization. You never asked. I leaned back. Every Sunday dinner, every phone call, every family gathering, you told me what I was doing wrong. You never once asked what I was actually doing. Because you were evasive. Trevor's voice rose, then fell when other diners glanced over. You never gave us details. I gave you the same details I give everyone who doesn't need to know more. I kept my tone even. I said I was in tech, building something. That was true. You assumed it meant failure because I wasn't wearing a suit to Sunday dinner. Amber's phone was out. I watched her type my name into Google, watched her eyes widen, watched her turn the screen to Trevor. There I was, Forbes 30 under 30 from 2 years ago. Seattle Business Magazine's Tech Innovators to Watch. A photo from TechCrunch Disrupt, where we'd won Best Startup. Jesus Christ. Trevor's voice cracked. You spoke at Web Summit last year. Keynote. I nodded. On the future of algorithmic wealth management. Dad was staring at me like I was a stranger. Maybe I was. Maybe I'd always been one. And he was just now noticing. Why? It came out broken. Why let us think? Because Mom told me something before she died. I met his eyes. She said people show you who they really are when they think you can't do anything for them. That the people who love you for you will stay whether you're on top or at the bottom. The words landed like stones in still water, ripples spreading across all their faces. For 5 years I waited for one of you to check on me, not to fix me, not to lecture me, just to ask if I was okay. I smiled, sad but honest. Nobody did, but my assistant did. My CFO did. My investors did. People I'd known for months cared more about my well-being than the family I'd known my whole life. Thomas arrived with the wine, presented the label to me, poured the tasting portion. I went through the ritual while my family watched in silence. Approved, he poured. Marcus? Dad started, stopped. Started again. I didn't realize that I was successful, I finished. Or that your metric for success was too narrow to see it? He flinched. Trevor was still staring at his phone, scrolling through articles, piecing together 5 years of a life he'd dismissed. You have 127 employees, 131 as of last week. We're hiring. I took a sip of wine. Excellent, as always. Actually, Trevor, your firm does corporate insurance, right? He nodded slowly. We're looking for new providers. Our current carrier can't scale with our growth. I met his eyes. If you can beat their rates, send me a proposal. Business emails on the website. The olive branch hung there. Professional, clean, conditional on merit, not family. And Dad, I continued. Your friend Gerald Chen, the one you introduced me to at your retirement party 5 years ago? He's been one of our angel investors since year 1. He believed in me when I had nothing but a pitch deck and a dream. Dad's face went pale. Gerald never mentioned. Because I asked him not to. I wanted to see if you'd believe in me without proof, without external validation. I set down my glass. You didn't. And that's okay. It taught me who I'm building this for. Silence. The kind that's heavy with everything that should have been said years ago. Finally, Amber spoke, her voice small. I called you a failure. At Easter. I said you were the reason Marcus here was a family disappointment. I remember. I did. Vividly. You said I was proof that intelligence without work ethic is worthless. She covered her mouth. I'm so sorry. Are you sorry you said it? Or sorry it wasn't true? The question wasn't cruel. It was genuine. She didn't answer. The answer was in her silence. The next Sunday dinner was different. Quieter. My father asked about my work. Actually listening to the answers. Trevor sent over the insurance proposal. Competitive, professional, no family discount requested. We gave him the contract, he earned it. But something had changed. Or maybe, something had finally been revealed that was always there. I started a mentorship program at Summit, specifically for first-generation college students building startups. Kids who didn't have safety nets, who had families that didn't understand equity or cap tables or convertible notes. Every week I met with 5 of them, told them my story. Let them see that you can build something extraordinary while people you love completely miss it. Don't build it for their approval, I'd tell them. Build it because it matters. The approval, if it comes, will follow the success, and if it doesn't, you'll have succeeded anyway. One kid, Jamal, 23, building an app for gig workers, asked me, do you regret not telling your family sooner? I thought about it, really thought about it. No, I said finally. Because their doubt taught me to trust my own belief. And that's worth more than their early support ever could have been. My relationship with my family is better now. Not fixed. Better. There's a difference. Dad and I meet for coffee monthly. We talk about business, markets, strategies. It's surface level, but it's honest. Trevor and I grab lunch occasionally. Amber's friendly, careful, aware that words have weight, now that she knows I was listening all along. But I learned something important. The people who only see your value after the world validates it, never really see you at all. They see the reflection of their own judgment corrected. They see their mistake in dismissing you. But you? The actual you? That's still invisible to them. The waiter at Cascadia, James, he's seen me in sweatpants and in suits. He served me when I was celebrating million-dollar contracts and when I was drowning problems in whiskey after a deal fell through. He knew my name because he knew me, not because he knew my net worth. That's the metric I use now. Not success, not validation. Just, who sees me when the lights are off? And if the answer is nobody in your family, that tells you something valuable too. If this story resonated with you, drop a comment below and tell me, where are you listening from, and have you ever been underestimated by the people who should have believed in you first? This is Calm Verdict Stories. I'm Marcus, and this is what happens when you build in silence and let success be the noise. To everyone out there grinding in obscurity while people count you out, they're not watching close enough. Keep building, they'll hear about it eventually.